My mother died 3 years ago. I was 10, and my little sister Abby was only 5. Mom's passing left a hard mark on both of us, even though I'm not sure that we properly understood death back then. We felt more than we could rationally comprehend. About a year ago, Dad took us to our favorite family restaurant. He said he wanted to have a serious talk. He ordered us everything we wanted. And that's how I knew he had some unpleasant news for us. And I wasn't wrong. He told us that he'd been dating for a while and finally found a really special lady that he was going to propose to. Yeah, I was shocked. I couldn't imagine some woman replacing my mother. And Abby even thought she barely remembered Mom herself. Always heard all the stories about her and pictured her like an angel. So, accepting our stepmom was a challenge. But I knew that our dad had to move on. I'd never wished him to be lonely and unhappy for the rest of his life. So, I tried to keep it cool and even congratulated him. Soon after, he finally introduced us to Stella. I did my best to be friendly and open-minded, even though I couldn't help but dislike her from the get-go. As for Abby, I didn't think she fully realized what was going on and how it would affect our lives. Several months after that, everything went by so fast with all the wedding planning. Finally, the day came. The ceremony was beautiful. Me and Abby were flower girls. Stella looked really pretty, and our dad seemed genuinely happy. At that moment, I thought that maybe everything will actually work out and the 4 of us could become a real family. When Stella moved in, I made my best effort to befriend our new stepmother. She was fine. A little distant and seemingly uninterested in connecting with me or Abby. But other than that, she was nice. And I could tell that she really loved our father. The 2 of them seemed so happy together. Even when they were simply watching TV or making breakfast, they were so clearly in love that I felt happier just being around them. But it turned out that Abby didn't feel that way. At all. One morning, when we were all having breakfast together, I noticed how Abby was looking at Stella. I'd never seen such a look on my little sister's face before. It was pure hate. I was taken back but didn't say anything, afraid of bringing it up in front of the adults. When we went upstairs to get ready for school, I wanted to talk to her. But before I managed to find the right words, Abby brought it up herself. How long is she gonna be here? I stared at her with confusion. Abby, she's living with us now. She didn't say anything. She's a new member of our family. Abby looked at me as if I said something terrible. I want her gone. She's evil. What? No, Abby. I squatted next to her and looked into her face. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of her either, but she's not evil. And she makes our dad happy. She didn't respond, but kept looking me in the eyes with a stubborn conviction. She's gonna live with us and we're gonna do our best to accept her, okay? Girls, you coming? You're gonna be late for school, Dad yelled from downstairs. Abby got up on her feet and ran away without answering me. We didn't talk about it in the car either. I was too weirded out by Abby's behavior. She's always been such a sweet, quiet little kid. Her sudden hatred towards her stepmother was out of character for her. And that stubbornness it wasn't her. When I got back home, Abby was still at her after-school ballet class. I don't even know why, but I decided to go through her stuff. I knew that I was violating her personal space, but I was worried. Something had caused that weird behavior and I needed to know what. There were tons of books and notebooks lying on Abby's desk, but one caught my attention right away. It was on top of all her school books, almost as if Abby actually wanted me or someone else to see it. It was a book about folklore fairy tales opened on a page with a story about 2 girls whose stepmother turned out to be an evil witch that tried to kill them. The story was illustrated, and above a picture with the witch attempting to push the girls into a pot of boiling water, Abby had written one word with a red pencil: Stella. The witch's eyes were crossed with the same pencil. I shuddered. That seemed creepy. I knew I needed to have a serious talk with her. I obviously wouldn't rat her out to Dad or Stella, but I also couldn't just leave it. That evening after dinner, Abby and I were alone upstairs. I approached her and showed her the witch book. Abby looked at me with the same stubborn conviction I'd seen that morning, but she still refused to say anything. "Abby, what is this?" She didn't reply, but kept looking at me angrily. "Abby, why did you write that?" "Because it's true. Stella is that witch, and she wants to kill us," she finally blurted out. "No, Abby, it's not true," I almost yelled. "Look, this fairy tale, it's just a story. It's not real, and Stella isn't a witch. She's a financial consultant. I don't know what that means, but she's both." Her eyes filled with tears. She seemed scared and enraged at the same time. "Hey, listen to me. Stella is not a witch, and even if she was, I'd protect you from her, no matter what. Do you hear me?" Abby hugged me, but she was shaking. I didn't sleep well that night. Abby's weird, stubborn look and unbreakable conviction that her stepmom was an evil witch from a fairy tale were bothering me. In the middle of the night, I heard some noises. A door creaked. Then quick, quiet steps. Another door. I got up to check what was going on. I peeped out of my room to see the door to Abby's and Dad's room wide open. I rushed to Abby's room. It was empty. A horrific thought flashed in my mind as I darted into Dad's room. Imagine my terror when I saw my baby sister approaching Stella's side of the bed, holding a huge kitchen knife. Abby noticed me, but instead of stopping, she smiled at me, put a finger over her mouth, telling me to keep quiet. I didn't have time to think. In 1 second, I was next to her. I carefully took the knife out of her small hand and quickly pushed my sister into the hall. When we were outside of Dad's room, I closed the door and leaned over Abby. "Abby, what are you doing?" "I'm protecting us. Both of us. Abby." I grabbed her by the shoulders, forcing her to look me in the eyes. "I told you, Stella isn't a witch." She kept stubbornly looking me right in the eyes. She might have fooled you, but she didn't fool me. She broke free from my arms, ran into her room, and closed the door, leaving me wondering, is my little sister going crazy? Or is she just overreacting and letting her imagination run wild? And in any case, what do I do about it? I didn't sleep all night, making sure that Abby didn't make another attempt to take out our stepmom as she slept. And in the morning, I went downstairs to talk to my dad. It was Saturday. Stella was still asleep, and my dad was in the kitchen making waffles and humming a happy song. "Morning, sunshine," he greeted me with a smile on his face and put a plate with the waffle right in front of me. "Early bird gets the first worm," he laughed at his own joke. I looked at him. He seemed so happy. I just couldn't tell him now. He noticed my weird mood. "What is it, honey? Is everything okay?" I hesitated before answering. "Yeah, it's just, I think we should keep our kitchen knives stored more safely." He looked at me puzzled. "I saw Abby take a knife from the block yesterday. She almost cut herself while trying to cut an apple." "Oh," my dad looked around the kitchen with a concerned look. "You're right. We should do something about that. Thanks for telling me." "Sure, Dad." I got up to get myself some more chocolate milk when I saw Abby standing on the stairs like a ghost, eavesdropping on our conversation. She seemed horrified and betrayed. She ran upstairs without saying a word. When I got back to my room, I noticed a note on my desk written with that familiar red pencil. "You're in it with her. I know it now. You'll pay for this." I shuddered and sat on my bed, scared and confused. That day, Dad made sure that it was impossible for Abby to reach the kitchen knives. And I've spent the last couple of nights awake to make sure she doesn't do anything. But I know all this prevention isn't really solving the problem. The way that she still looks at me and Stella, as if we're a threat that needs to be terminated, it terrifies me. I want to help her, but I don't know how. Should I tell someone? What if they think she's crazy? What if they lock her up in a mental asylum? I just can't do this to my baby sister. I need to do the right thing, but I can't. And I'm scared that no matter what I do, I'll only cause more pain to our family.